And I'm back for another episode of Pokemon Light Platinum. In the last episode, we made it here just outside of the Groment Mines. For some reason in the last episode, I was calling the city Groment City, even though the R is clearly before the O, so yeah, my pronunciation sucked there. But anyway, we defeated Team Steam in the Groment Museum, and now we have to head into the mines to find the gym leader. So let me just start off by spraying a max repel, because we know how annoying it can be in caves when there's loads of Pokemon inside it. And we got first battle here against this guy. I probably should have spoken to that hiker to see what he had to say, but whatever. Anyway, Miner Jose, or Jose with A. Wow, this is really not a good matchup with Godzilla, but let me just switch into someone who can take this guy. We're gonna go with Scorpio. Our good old Drapion, he can pretty much take anything that comes at him. So, Revenge is gonna be not very effective. Well, it's actually regularly... I can never say that word for some reason. It's regularly... it's normal effective. There we go. It's normal effective because we're dark, but we're also a poison type, so that cancels out the super effectiveness. Anyway, Foresight is only going to let it... Like, if we were a ghost type, it would be able to use Tackle on us or something. It's kind of like Odor Sleuth, just not as good, or... Actually, what? Not as good. They're both the exact same, I think. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. Level 41 for Godzilla, which is great, because I am trying to level her up a little bit. Next Pokemon is Rhydon, the ground and rock type. So I'm going to switch into Bulbapedia to take this thing on with a Razor Leaf and get Bulbapedia to hopefully level 46. I assume so, because it looks like you only need like 1 experience or something to get a level up. So that's really good. And there we go, down goes Rhydon, no problems at all. And level 46, that's great. And we defeat Jose, or Jose, or Josie, or something. And let's talk to this guy. He says the first fossils found in this mine were that of an Aerodactyl, so the museum prominently features an Aerodactyl to represent the importance of this Pokemon to the mine and city. Aerodactyl is actually a pretty cool Pokemon. Anyway, right here we got a Super Potion to restore 50 HP, and it looks like we got another trainer to take on, so let's take him on. His Golem tried to... Okay, his Golem trained a lot. That's pretty cool, I guess. It's totally noteworthy. Anyway, this guy has 4 Pokemon, one of which is a Donphan. Another pretty cool Pokemon. I'm gonna try and take it out with Thrash, even though Donphan is pretty defensive. I could be, like, really messing myself up here. But it doesn't really... I don't think it'll have anything super effective, so I could probably get a Thrash in. And it's not gonna take it out anyway, but... You know, Fury Attack missed twice, and we got to hit with Thrash 3 times. But it still didn't do a lot because, you know, Donphan is pretty defensive, so I'm going to switch into somebody else on the next turn. So we're confused out of fatigue. Let me just go with Bulbapedia again, I guess, because I can take it out with like 1 wing attack. What? Razor Leaf. So, roll out. Does decent enough damage. That was kind of Donphan's signature move in Generation 2, I think, Rollout, even though a few other Pokemon could learn it, but Rollout was the main attack you'd probably teach to your Donphan, because look at it, it looks like something that would roll around a lot. Anyway, next Pokemon is Marowak, level 37, and we're gonna hit that thing with a Razor Leaf, which takes it out in 1 hit, so way to go, Bulbapedia. I kinda don't want to rely on Bulbapedia too much, because I will be using it in the next gym. It is a, ground type gym coming up. So that'll, it'd be kind of suckish if one of my Pokemon were, well, Bulbapedia and Elegance, my Milotic, are already a few levels ahead of everybody else. But I don't want anyone getting excluded and stuff. Anyway, Machoke. We're gonna go with Scorpio again, I guess. Kinda need to train up the rest of my team, because I've kind of, as I said, I don't want to neglect anyone, but I've kind of done that already. But you know, stuff happens, I guess. Let's just go for Sludge Bomb, which does just a little less than half. Another one will take it out, or even Headbutt, I'd say, would take it out, so we can go for that. And there we go, down goes Machoke. And level 43. So that's good. And we defeat the second trainer in the mines. So let's move on. And he uses this machine to move big rocks. When I'm working in the mine, all my troubles disappear. I love this job. Well, it doesn't sound like too cool a job, I guess, but whatever. And a hiker. And then, wait a minute, that guy back there said he had a Golem, and he didn't even use Golem. What is that? What's that about? Anyway, Claydol. I don't really like clay at all, so I'm gonna switch into my Milotic. And it's gonna use Ancient Power, which is a rock type move. It would have been not very effective on Pupitar anyway. Let's go for Hydro Pump. And it hits. I'm actually surprised because it doesn't have the greatest accuracy. But it takes out Claydol in one hit, so that's great. It looks like I'm pretty over leveled for this. But maybe it's only on 2 Pokemon. Anyway, Onix. I'm actually just going to stay with Elegance, I guess. I assume that Elegance and Bulbapedia are going to be my main Pokemon used in the next gym, so might as well let them battle a bit in here and get a little more levels up, because I don't know what level the gym leader's Pokemon are on. Anyway, that's another trainer defeated. And this guy is kind of in my way, I think. Yeah, thank you for getting out of the way. Let's head down here, and there's an item we can grab. It's an escape rope. I never really use escape ropes, 'cause I might use them to get out of here quickly instead of to save time. Anyway, got another battle here. And this time it is a battle against Minor what? Is that like Ronnie or something? I don't know. Anyway, he's a Don fan. We're gonna go with Milotic. And Flail, which I can't remember if it does more. Yeah, it does more when you have less HP, I think. It's kind of like Endeavor, even though Endeavor brings you down to the exact same HP as your opponent. Or it brings them down. Yeah, that's basically what I was about to say again. It brings you down to their HP or them down to your HP. Anyway, this guy's the exact same Pokemon as the first Minor, I think, which kind of sucks. Because it's very repetitive. I think we had a problem with that in the last, or 2 episodes ago back in the, or 3 episodes ago even, back in the mountain, where most of the hikers had the exact same Pokemon. Next Pokemon is Onix. So, Water Pulse that. And there we go, down goes Onix. Final Pokemon is Machoke. I'm gonna send out Barney this time. I haven't used Barney in a while. So let's go for Thunder Punch. I think I might actually put the experience share on my Growlithe, just to get some experience, because I am starting off the battle with my Pupitar, so that's getting experience that way, and it has the Lucky Egg, so it's getting more experience that way. And at least if I put the experience share in Growlithe, it's still going to get some experience, even though it doesn't have to battle. Which could come in handy, because I need to get it up a few levels. I need to get a Firestone, but I think I can't get one to like Victory Roads. That's a good bit away yet, I think. Anyway, yeah, we'll just give the experience share to Arc Flame, and let me just check out Pupitar, see how far from a level it is. Not that far, so I could just keep it at the front and switch around. First boss, yep, great, you're just repeating what the guy at the very start said. That's annoying, and you were in my way, but not anymore. Thanks, dude. My work in Groment Mines is very difficult. It takes a lot of training and preparation. Alright. What do we got here? A Smoke Ball. And there's a trainer we have to battle. Oh, right, never mind. Yesterday I was working here. He found a fossil. And we get the head fossil, which I think that could be for Cranidos, which would be pretty cool. Or it could be for any fossil Pokemon, I just have no idea. Anyway, here's a hiker. I helped find some Kabutops fossils here years ago. That's pretty cool. We need strength, even though we already have it, because Bulbapedia knows strength. So let's just push that over there, and I didn't mean to even push that down, but it doesn't matter. So, wow, that guy is very enthusiastic about mining, because apparently miners can do anything. Don fan. I assume this guy has the same Pokemon as the first guy that we met in the cave, which is really annoying. I mean, I can understand if the creator of the hack got bored or tired of making guys have all new Pokemon and stuff, but it's just sort of repetitive and annoying for people to watch me battle the same trainers. Like, you can just skip near every battle and just go to the end of the episode and see what happens there, because all the battles are going to be the same. Anyway, level 41 for Arc Flame. And next Pokemon's Marowak. I'm just going to stay with Bulbapedia, because there's no point in constantly switching it to Pupitar just to get it up a few levels. So, well, that's Marowak defeated with 1 Razor Leaf. Next Pokemon, Onyx, and then finally he's gonna have a Machoke. Because, you know, we've battled this trainer like twice already. So, down goes Onyx. And finally, we see Machoke. So, I'm just gonna stay with Bulbapedia and take this thing with hopefully 2 Razor Leafs. And one does over half, so another one will finish. Revenge is not going to do much because it's not very effective. It's actually 4 times not effective, I think. And there we go. So down goes Machoke. And we can move on. So see you later, dude. Let's head over here and grab this item, which is a netball. Why would there be a netball in a mine? I don't understand, but anyway. This guy's working here, he found a fossil, so we get another fossil, which is the shield fossil, which I'm really going to assume is for Shieldon. So hopefully I'm right on that. I could probably just check it out in the museum if I wanted to, but I don't think I will. He moves big rocks with that machine. He's looking for a good Lairon. We don't need strength, we can just go by here. It's a perfect place for battle, apparently. Because the mine could totally, like, cave in and crush us all. It's apparently a good place to battle. Anyway, a little bit of a change of pace here. This guy has a Graveler. And we're just going to go with Bulbapedia because he's nearly on level 47, so it's always good to get our Pokemon up levels. And Self-Destruct. I think Bulbapedia can probably take this. Oh, 1 HP. That's, that's very lucky. That is actually a little bit too lucky. Anyway, next Pokemon is Macargo, so I have to go to Milotic for this thing. Because it is a rock and fire type. So wow, 1 HP, way to go Bulbapedia, he took that like a champion. Anyway, there is Water Pulse, and down goes Macargo, which is a pretty weak Pokemon. But it looks pretty cool, I guess, but it's still kind of weak. Anyway, Breno was defeated, or Breno. And I'm just going to use a Hyper Potion, if I have one. Yeah, I have 3. I'm going to use Hyper Potion to heal up Bulbapedia, because he took some big damage from that Self-Destruct. And wouldn't Self-Destruct make the mine totally cave in, or whatever? This guy doesn't battle. There's nothing down this way, I don't think, unless there's a hidden item. Nope. Don't even know if we have the item finder, so Repel wore off. I need to spray a new one, because we don't want wild Zubats and stuff. If there's even Zubats in here, I don't know. I didn't even really care to check. So there we go, push that over there. Yeah, they all seem to say the same thing about moving big rocks. The Mountaineers. Alright. So here we have Hiker Gray with Elaron on level 37. Yet again, another change of pace, which is good. It's boring seeing the same old Pokemon again. Anyway, even though I can't say much because you guys have seen Godzilla Bulbapedia in like every battle so far. Anyway, Iron Tail missed, so hitting this thing with the Razor Leaf should hopefully take it out. And almost takes it out. Takedown missed. Wow, that guy has terrible luck. But does he have terrible luck, or do we have very good luck? I'll let you guys decide. Anyway, there's level 47 for Bulbapedia. Next Pokemon is Rhyhorn. I'm just going to go with Bulbapedia again, I guess. I don't see the point in switching. I could have went to Milotic, but we'll just stay with Bulbapedia. I'll probably use Milotic now for the rest of the cave, seeing as all these guys have Pokemon that are ground and rock and stuff. So down goes Rhyhorn. And we defeat Hiker Gray. And we can move on. So we have an item over here. And it's a max revive. That's actually a really handy item, so I'm glad I actually picked up one of those. And this guy doesn't battle, he just said something about Kabutops fossils. And you have to be careful, this mine can be very dangerous. Alright. Let's take on this guy. So he'll fight to defend his reputation as a miner, because, you know, miners have dignity. Alright, he's electable as well. That's even way different than looking at the same Pokemon. Why did I use Thrash? I should have used Rock Slide. That was pretty dumb. And Thrash, well, it did half, but static sucks. Even though it wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna outspeed this thing anyway. Light Screen, which will increase special defense for 5 turns. And wow, it's gonna, wow, fully paralyzed. So at least I won't get confused by Thrash, and we get rid of our paralysis with shed skin, so way to go, Godzilla. That was all tactics, I believe. Why'd I use Rock Slide whenever it has 1 HP? That's such a waste. But whatever. Critical hit on 1 HP. As always. Next Pokemon is Magmar. I'm going to stay with Pupitar and hit it with a Rock Slide because it's super effective. And Ember doesn't get a burn. If that got a burn, that would have sucked. I mean, getting paralyzed and burned in the same battle would have been terrible. Anyway, that was 1 Rock Slide, and level 42 for Godzilla. And we defeat Macon. So let's keep heading on this way. Yeah, okay. As well as having the same Pokemon, a lot of the guys repeat themselves. Hey, are you crazy? Get out of here right now. It's about to explode. 1, 2, 3, now! Holy, whoa, those fossils look pretty cool. Oh wow, that looks like a big, huge Rampardos or Cranidos fossil right in the middle. Incredible, just incredible. These fossils are in perfect condition. Sorry, but when I use explosives in the mine, they're dangerous to anybody nearby. I hope you're okay. My name is Atlas, and I'm the Groment City Gym Leader. Well, now that I've finished my work here, I'll return to my gym. See you there, trainer. Alright, so there we have Atlas, the Gym Leader. And let me just look at these fossils, because they look pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like clearly a Cranidos in the middle. I can't tell what these other two are. Maybe, oh, maybe it's a Bastiodon, and maybe that's meant to be Rampardos or Cranidos, I don't know. Anyway, we got an item over here. Quick Claw. I think we already have one of those. So, we have 2 Quick Claws. And he uses the machine to move big rocks. I'm going to actually just use an escape rope to get out of here, because I don't really care for walking the whole way out. So, magical rope. Spin me around and get me out of here. There we are. Wow, I just like appeared out of thin air. I always wondered how the escape rope works. I would assume that the rope is at the very start of the mine or cave you're in or whatever, and you just like follow the rope, but they just do the spinning around animation to get you out there quicker. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, and in the next episode of Pokemon Light Platinum, we're going to head into the Groment City Gym and hopefully get our 5th badge in the Zeri region. So, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys for more shortly enough. See you then.